Dead by Dawn, Evil Dead.
Ooh, that was scary.
Was that a jump scare?
A little bit. I was a little scared, yeah. Just need more goop.
Dead by Dawn.
Dead by Dawn.
You will die by dawn.
You will be dead by dawn. Everyone's dying by dawn.
It's all we do these days is die by dawn.
God, can we just like speed it up? Die by twilight?
Or just not die.
Well, yeah, probably that. Hello, everyone. We've seen the reboot, remake, requel, sequel, legacy, nothing, who knows, of Evil Dead Rise. 10 years from the Fede Alvarez one.
Yep.
Directed by Lee Cronin. He also wrote it.
Yep.
And he's known for The Hole in the Ground.
Hole in the ground.
And that's it. So,
I think he may be doing like maybe The Crow. You're the Crow.
Oh, cool.
You're the Crow now.
this stars Lily Sullivan as Beth, and she is the sister of Ellie, who's played by Alyssa Sutherland. There's also Morgan Davies is in this as one of the kids. And basically, there's an earthquake in this apartment complex in LA, even though it was shot in New Zealand. And
Crikey, yeah.
oi! When you know it, one of the kids finds a copy of the Book of the Dead. And this is connected to Army of Darkness because they talk about 3 books in that one. So it is a sequel in some senses.
Yeah, in a weird time warpy way.
Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, they start playing. Oh yeah, the kid also found some records.
Yeah.
Records have some priests saying the phrases. The deadites, well, one deadite is awoken, and then many more happen upon.
Wow, that was really poetic.
Yeah.
Happen upon.
If you've seen an Evil Dead movie, you know there's blood, you know there's guts, you know there's vomit, you know there's creepy stuff, there's fun stuff, and this has all of it.
Yeah, a lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
You know, I don't know if this is a fun. I mean, it's a fun watch. There's not much fun in it.
There are some funny parts.
There's some funny parts. But you know, I think we have fully departed from, hey, this is a comical, like heightened, surreal, gross horror film, and like, hey, this is a movie about trauma, much like the 2013 one, and kind of these people who may not be at their best selves having to deal with literal demons. And it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that it's not like, you know, there's no ash, there's no like goofiness, goofiness like that. It's its own thing, and I'm cool with that.
I want more goofiness, but that's just me.
I just don't know if you can replicate it.
You can't. Like, but it like I was expecting, like, because with the remake, which is a decade ago now, which is crazy, they did their serious version of it. I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll kind of tiptoe into the Bruce Campbell campiness, and they didn't. They really hammered down on the gore, which is, like, you know, if you're into that, there's a lot of it. But the whole, like, there's one gag it was a callback to, I think it's the second movie with the eyeball. I was like, hey, there it is, and then it never came back.
There is humor in this, obviously. It is not as apparent as... Because there are moments when, in the movie, me and JD actually went and watched this.
Yeah.
First time.
Yep. First time.
Getting a real feature exclusive.
Really?
Scary. He's a scaredy cat.
I'm a scaredy cat. I just don't. I like to see horror movies with an audience.
Yeah.
That's
And
the best.
sometimes, depending on the movie you're going into, like, I don't know, bodies, and you're the only one in the theater, I didn't want that. I didn't know that there were going to be more people in Evil Dead.
But my point was is that in the audience, there were very clear things happening that people were laughing to, which only Evil Dead fans would laugh to.
That's
and so that's still there. So I'm not too upset that there wasn't as much humor as there was back in the day, because I have a feeling you could do that in the sequels.
There's not a spirit chasing anyone through, like, the inner workings of a house, you know, like, and there's not like laughing at stuffed animal heads, you know. There are funny moments, there are funny kind of like interactions. There are some really great moments of tension. It is so interesting to see that, like, Evil Dead is such an inspiration for so many horror films now, and then to see this movie take the movies that were inspired by Evil Dead and kind of play with what they've already done too. Like, there's a great bit that feels very Conjuring in the middle of it, with a sheet. Not to give it away, but it's so good, and you're just like, and it's just barely there, and you're like, ooh, you know. But a lot of the imagery, it's like, I think people who have never seen an Evil Dead movie are gonna see this like, it's kind of like The Conjuring, but like super bloody and gross. I just really liked I think more of the performances. I really enjoyed.
Oh man, whoever you said her name, Sutherland.
Alyssa Sutherland.
She's amazing. She's so good.
Yeah, and that's such a physical performance too, more than anything, and it's so good. The kids are really great. Lily Sullivan is really good, of someone who doesn't want to take on the role she's given, but kind of has to.
Yeah.
And the little kid is cute, you know, like
Daphne.
Yes, Daphne. God, with this breakout star of the movie, Daphne. Yeah, I think more than anything, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of gross things that you're like, ooh, that is so nasty, so much fun, and it's just it's an interesting story. I wish they maybe would have dived a little deeper with some of the story, because it's very much surface level, and you're like, okay, I get what they're saying. Much like the 2013 one, where you're like, yeah, she's battling a literal demon and an internal demon at the same time, but I really enjoyed it.
Also, one of the coolest title cards I've seen in a while. Like immediately once that happened, I was like, I'm in.
Both at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, there are two of them.
There is, like, I will say, my one kind of not really complaint, because I get what they have to do, is there's a kind of setup at the beginning that feels and like with a payoff at the end that I don't really need.
It definitely feels like they picked up, because this was originally going to be streaming, and then they saw how positive everything was, and they probably just tacked that on so they could have a sequel.
I could definitely see that. Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna do something, because you think that there's no like big revelation to why it's in there. You're like, yeah, just cool, I guess, setting, whatever. You're expecting this kind of like, whoa, twist, and because the way they set it up, and then it's just.
Well, I have a criticism of this movie.
Go ahead.
And it's a criticism of just horror movies since '95, is adding music to jump cuts. I don't care. This is an Evil Dead movie. You don't need that type of sound. I'm okay with it. Just have the person show up.
Do you mean jump scare?
Jump scares.
Okay, you said jump cut.
Oh no.
Well,
jump. I would rather prefer a jump cut than a jump scare.
Let's do a jump cut of you saying jump scare and just put it right in the middle.
That's too much work.
Okay. Well, I do agree though. Like there are things in this movie that, to me, that 2013 one, like the original, of course, incredible. The 13 one, like, kind of seared into my brain of moments that are really great. This one doesn't like have. There are a few things here and there that I'm probably gonna remember forever, but. There's like, the music's not there.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I was thinking about like even the trailer music for the 2013 one and how good that was and how intense it was. And there's just nothing that's like, aside from the performances, that I'm like, man, I'm going to remember that forever.
If you've made it here, thank you. I'm glad you joined us.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about the big hulking triumvirate deadite at the end?
The whole time I was thinking this guy would make an amazing Resident Evil movie, because that's pretty much a Resident Evil monster.
Yeah.
With the like multiple heads and arms. Yeah. I thought it was cool.
I do appreciate that. That is a moment. That is something that they try, that they set up, and they're like, okay, like it's clear this book has all these pictures, and you kind of see each picture play out a little bit, and you get to that one, you're like, oh no. Yeah. So it is cool that like it wasn't like, okay, we gotta like dismember like the main deadite to kind of end it. Felt more like something, and it's all.
And it continues that theme of religion, because you think of the three heads, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And of course the deadites would try to be like mock the three spirits or whatever. So it's just, I think it deepens the lore a little bit, and I'm excited to see, because obviously they didn't kill all of the deadites at the end of the movie. So there's still more in that apartment complex. Yeah. So you could do that. You could do the cabin. You can go 20 different ways with it.
I think that's what now I see what you're saying. You want a Bruce Campbell style, old school.
Because they did the serious one already.
I just don't think that don't think that happens anymore. I think we got Ash versus the Evil Dead, where they kind
That's fair.
of gave you that.
Yeah.
I would have loved a sequel to the 2013 one. Obviously, that didn't happen. I would like to see sequels to this to then like build out that lore, see where it goes. You know, if you would have told someone, hey, you know that Evil Dead movie you saw in 2 movies, it's going to be like time traveling back to medieval times. They'd be like, that sounds dumb.
Out of 10 buckets of blood thrown on you in the middle of a blood rainstorm, out of 10, how many would you give it?
I'm going to give this half a point for every use of the split diopter. 6.5 buckets of blood out of 10. There's so many split diopters.
For some reason, I thought you were going to be like 39 out of 10.
39. I don't think there's that many. But I want more, like, you know, Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies ever, along with Army of Darkness. And I just like comedy, and I want more of that. But I do like how they hardcore just went all in on the gore and the grossness.
Ooh, I'm going to give this like 8 out of 10 buckets of blood. There are some things I didn't love, but a lot of stuff I enjoyed. I still think probably my least favorite right now of the franchise, but who knows? It could grow on me. Love the characters, though.
I give it 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like the characters. I like the gore. The jump scare, not jump cut, music annoyed me, and I was mad. But other than that, I liked everything. And if anyone was listening, you could hear Ash Williams.
You could.
Bonus point for you.
What's my bonus point?
All the Freddys. There's no bad Freddy movie.
There is no bad Freddy movie. Like, finally,
we both giggled, and I'm sure the people next to us are like, "That's not funny."
But to us, it's true.
Hilarious.
There are no bad Freddy movies because they're all bad.
They're all bad.
So they're good. Exactly. Good thing.
Un esercito di prodi